Today we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And the topic is Siman denial. Okay, so our sages state, Rabbi HaShem ben Leib said, the term Torah appears 5 times in the chapters where discuss the Mezonos, whose affliction is punishment for having spoken Lashon Hara. This teaches that one who speaks Lashon Hara is considered as he had transgressed 5 books of the Torah. It says in Regrettably 16:6. So let's read the commentary. So first of all, it says in a parsha of Mezonos, right? Mezonos is the person who spoke Lashon Hara, and now he gets or she gets these special like spots on the skin, and there is hairs inside, and they have to be examined by a Kohen, and Kohen has to say whether it's pure, or announce them impure, meaning it's tzaras. Okay. So, and the word Torah appears there 5 times, so meaning that one who speaks Lashon Hara transgresses all 5 books of Torah. So let's see. There is a commentary. So it says, Sefer HaKadosh cited by Macharzu to Vayikra Rabbah. Note that the subject of Lashon Hara is prominently mentioned in all 5 books. Okay. So and they of course they give sources. The books of Bereshit chapter 3 relates how the serpent through the cunning and deception caused Adam and Chava to sin, right? So that's first book. Second book of Shmos 2:15 relates how Moshe was forced to flee Egypt because of the treachery of the son and Abiram. Okay. So that's second book. Third book, the book of Vayikra, chapters 13 and 14, details the laws of tzaras, which is divinely inflicted retribution for speaking Lashon Hara. And it also contains the primary prohibition against speaking Lashon Hara. Okay, it's 1916. The books of BeEzrat. So in Vayikra, it's not like a special incident, like separate incident, but it's actually in general laws of Lashon Hara. In books of BeEzrat relates episode of Miriam, Tzaras, chapter 13, that she spoke negatively about Moshe. The spies, slander, chapter 13 and 14. Korach rebellion, of course. And in the last book, the book of Dvarim, its opening verse alludes to episode in which Jews in the wilderness were guilty of sinful talk. See Rashi there. Okay. So in all 5 books. Continue. Rav Yochanan said in the name of Rabbi Yossi ben Zimra, whoever speaks Lashon Hara is considered as if he had denied existence of God. As it is written in Tehillim 12:5, those who have said, with the tongue we shall prevail, our lips with us, who is master over us? It's from Arachin 15b. So basically, these people say, okay, who is better than us? We're good speakers, we're good sales people, right? Very interesting. Continue. Sefer Yereim explained that when someone wants to speak Lashon Hara, he first casts glance in all directions to make sure that the subject of evil words is not present. So he wants to talk about Reuben. He looks to the left, he looks to the right, behind. Okay, Reuben is not coming. Okay, so now I can speak freely, right? So meaning that he disregards HaShem completely, right? He's seeing lack of concern that his words will be noted above, meaning in the Shamayim, conveys an impression that to his mind, heaven is not cognizant of what is about to say. So Shamayim do not hear, so HaShem is out. According to him, this guy out of the picture. There is nobody like the subject of his Lashon Hara is not here, his friend's not here. Okay, I can talk about him. This is why speaking Lashon Hara is akin. Of course, it's not, but akin a denial of belief in God. So it's like one going to lead to another. What more must be said concerning the severity of the speaking Lashon Hara? There is no recourse but engage in evil inclination, the evil inclination battle, so that one will become not become caught in a net of this bitter sin, right? So the only way out is to stand up to Lashon Hara, control your speech, right, and to Eitz Hara, right, to Eitz Hara. So I'm not going to speak about people, period. Okay, so if you don't have anything to say, just keep quiet. Nobody said that you have to speak all the time, right? Those who will emerge victorious will reap the inestimable fruit of the efforts both in this world and the next, right? So in those who emerge victorious, meaning not he has what to say negatively and it is true, but who keeps his mouth shut or her mouth shut is going to reap an inestimable fruits of the efforts both in this one and the next one. Very good investment of keeping quiet. Okay, so stop here. 1 second, sorry. So we continue with Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and today we continue same topic, big topic. It's been for the past several classes. Brachas upon foods made from 5 species of grain. Okay, Siman 48 and Haloshon number 10. So it says foods made from the 5 species of grain that were cooked with other kinds of foods. As it is common practice that the bits of the dough are cooked within the beans and legumes, and in a dish of farfel, together with bean and chickpeas, even if one of the components in the mixture constitute the majority of the dish. Nevertheless, since each of the ingredients is separate and individually recognizable, one must recite 2 blessings. There is one should first recite Boremine Mezonos blessing on some bits of the dough and eat some of them, and after that he should recite Borei Priachadama blessing on the beans and then eat them. So let me, before draw any conclusion, let me read the commentary. But let's explain what Kitzur is saying. So Kitzur is saying there are many dishes where they combine 2 separate foods. For example, he gives the example of dough, right? Pieces of dough, right? That is cooked with beans, right? Okay. So he's saying, so you can tell apart here's the bean and here's the dough, pieces of dough. Okay, so what Kitzur is saying that you have to say 2 separate blessings. Okay, so the example that he gives farfel together with beans or chickpeas. I think we say 1 blessing, but let's see the commentary. According to Kitzur, when the foods are individually recognizable, we do not say that they should recite only one blessing on a primary food, but rather a separate blessing required for each food. According to Mishnah Brura 2.12.1, however, in this case one should recite only 1 blessing on a food that is majority. Okay, that's what we do. See also, okay, so you see there. Okay, so I was a little confused because that's not what we were teaching until now. So we actually go by what Kitzur, what Mishnah Brura is saying in Shulchan Aruch. So if you have such a mixture, and the definition of the mixture that we gave is something like you can eat with 1 spoonful. That's would be mixture. So if example, if it is not mixture, you have piece of chicken and you have potatoes, so they're not mixed, right? So then you would be required to say two separate blessing. But if it's one dish, and especially it was cooked together, right? It's not cooked separate, cooked together, and you eat with the same spoonful or forkful, pieces of dough and farfel and vegetables. So you say only one blessing on the most important ingredient. And in this case it would be Mezonos. So you say Boremine Mezonos, and it's going to cover all of the other vegetables. But if there is no Mezonos food, so you say, oh no majority, whatever majority is, but okay, whatever is it. Just 1 second. Continue. After this, okay, so halacha is not like what we're reading, but we're going to continue reading. Okay, don't get confused. After this, he may eat together. So first, so according to Kitzur, he said one blessing on one, second blessing on another, and then he eats together. The liquid that is part of the dish is considered subordinate to the rest of the dish, and one is not required to recite separate blessing on it. Additionally, the liquid is exempt from its own blessings because it is included in Borei Adama blessing that was recited on the beans, as we explained before. So let me quickly read the commentary, and we're going to explain. This is that's exactly what we do. There, Kitzur explained that approximate blessing, appropriate blessing for the vegetable broth. The liquid that result from cooking vegetables in water, even if consumed by itself. So that's very, very, very important point. So, for example, a person wants to drink only broth from vegetable soup for whatever reason. Somebody is sick, right? So usually you're going to eat the food with soup with the liquid with the vegetables, right? Whatever is there. But so somebody is sick that does not want to eat, just want to drink, right? And so we give them a food, this broth from vegetable soup. So a person say Borei Adama, meaning the fruit of the ground on this water, on this liquid, right? Because why? Because that's derivatives from the vegetable. And when person eats food, eats this soup, so he will actually count together liquid and salad meaning vegetables, and they actually combine together. Usually, under normal circumstances, for the after, I'm talking about for the sake of after blessing. So for after blessing, liquids and the salads do not combine, right? So you have to eat enough or drink enough one or another. So if you ate only a little and drank only a little, so that these things do not combine. But in this case, in case of the soup, so this liquid, it counts as a salad. It's very interesting. It's one of the exceptions. But when you think about it, it actually makes sense. Okay. Continue. However, if two ingredients were not separate, but mashed or mixed together, okay, such as food that is prepared by mixing together flour, eggs, and cheese. Flour, eggs, and cheese. I'm not sure what the flour, eggs, and cheese. Okay. And then frying and cooking the mixture. Okay, I understand what they say. Like you like something like a pancakes, right? But from when they say cheese, they say like this cottage cheese, like soft cheese, right? Okay. And frying and cooking this together. So cooking meaning they do them in a deep fry also. In this case, although the flour is only a minority of the dish, nevertheless, since the flour is one of the 5 species of grain, it is considered the most significant component of the mixture. And one recites before eating the food, Borei Mezonos. and after eating it, ala mihya. I'm not sure about ala mihya, but let's see this 65, and we're going to explain. If none of the components were grain products, the blessing would follow the ingredient that makes up majority of the dish. So let's try to understand. So now we're talking about, let's call them pancakes, so everybody understands what I'm talking about. So the cheese, no cheese, that doesn't, no, actually the cheese part makes very big difference. So if it would be no cheese, so it's like obvious, of course, you're doing these pancakes and they from fried grains, of course you say Baremine Mezonos. But when you do this pancakes from the scattered cheese, right? And of course the flour is in an egg just so it sticks together. Of course, for satiety, to get flavor. Of course, the flour is a minority. I don't know what minority, maybe 15%, 25%, but no, not more than that, right? For sure, not more. Even though it is minority, but since it is one of these important ingredients, so we say, of course, we say Baremine Mezonos, right, on that, and it covers all other ingredients. So he said, and we say after that we sell ala mihya. So ala mihya, I'm going to read the commentary. It's very long commentary, Baruch HaShem. But of course, we learned before that he has to eat this dough, right? Not the mixture, but dough in the size of kizayis at least. How many of these pancakes you have to eat in order to eat dough in the size of kizayis? I don't know, a lot. But let's see what they say. So even though you say Baremine Mezonos, but after that, after blessing, usually we're going to say maybe there are some exceptions that I'm not aware of, but unless person eats a lot, right? But usually after we don't say ala mihya, we say bara nefashos usually. Okay, so continue. Continue with the commentary. So it says Mishnah Berurah 208 C48. Which said that although one recites Mezonos before eating food that has any amount of the grain, one recites ala mihya only if he ate kizayis of grain, exactly as you said. In the mixture within the frame time kidei achilas pras. Okay, so let's try to understand, even though we went over a few times, but I think it would be beneficial to explain again. So Mishnah Berurah says, so if one of the ingredients is the Mezonos, you say the blessing on the Mezonos, and it could be minority. Minority means, I don't know, even 10% is minority. So it's hardly any Mezonos, but you say the blessing. But in some cases, I'm not sure if we're going to cover, but just to remind us, if in some cases, if flour is only added not to give flavor, only like binding agent, and it's minority, you don't even taste the flour, so it would be negligible. So we're not going to say the blessed Baremine Mezonos. Okay, just so we understand. So here is the flour is added to actually for flavor as well, right? And of course he has to eat kizayis, as we said. So I'm not sure how many of these you must eat, but you have to. I would say you have to do investigation, right? If you think that it's a lot of flour in there and you plan to eat a lot, you have to see how much approximately flour went into it, right? But sometimes for the whole this prep bowl, right, where you mix all the ingredients, so you would put I don't know, maybe only few spoons of the flour, I think. So it's not for sure. It's not enough to say after blessing, but maybe it's different recipe. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. So and plus he has to eat this kizayis, meaning 1 ounce, meaning 28 grams, right? In kidei achilas pras, meaning what? As we said, 3 to 4 minutes, maximum 9. Continue. See Igras Moshe Orach Chaim part 4, paragraph 41, which states that with regard to the bracha, achrana, So the after blessing, this is the frame is a bit less than 3 minutes. If one did eat kizais of the mixture, but not kizais of the grain, within the time of kidei hilas pras, one should recite bracha achrana barem nefashos. For the bracha barem nefashos blessing. Okay, see Siman for 51. I'm not sure. I'll tell you the truth. I'm not sure why the author now go by the stricter opinion, and why he's saying that Moshe Feinstein that said it's under 3 minutes. Okay, even I would say even after like under 9 minutes, usually people like don't eat these pancakes that made with cheese like so much flour. Like they were like very like satiated. Like you would eat 2, 3, 4, but still even if you ate 6. Like small one, right? Still you're not going to eat enough flour. Okay, so if you did not eat enough flour, so you just say barene fashos. Continue. Any questions before we continue? Actually, okay, no problem. So we continue. A common application of this halacha. So we try not to go like too strict. Yeah, so one second, let me finish. Yeah. So we try not to go too strict. So if we have like some lenient opinion, so we can for sure count on that opinion. Okay, go ahead, please. I apologize. Go ahead. Question, please.
A question about earlier subject you mentioned. If it's a majority, you say Mezonos, right? Majority.
Okay.
Food. Let's say if a person wants to be like pious and he wants to break down that food into multiple items. Let's say the food contains majority of the flour, which is Mezonos, but it has meat inside. He wants to say separate blessing on Shiakol for the meat and also Mezonos for the flour. Is this practice allowed, or is it?
It's not. It's not. I hear what you're saying. So like, let me give you two scenarios. So if like small pieces of chicken, or meat, whatever, small pieces, and over with I don't know with what with farfel, like a little farfel, like and some other vegetables. Let's say so you like and with one spoon you can get everything. Without fork you can get everything. We don't say extra blessing. We don't, because it might be that there is we're afraid that this is going to be unnecessary blessing. So if already said that this blessing on Mezonos cover everything, so don't put yourself in this situation. We do not create a situation when we say unnecessary blessings. It's very, very important. So don't. It's actually not pious. It's opposite is true. You understand? So
blessing in vain, right?
Said yes. It might be yes. It might be blessing in vain. Correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So like yeah, you're welcome. So believe it or not, somebody just left us a commentary. So quickly, like I was shocked. So quickly, we have on our channel the story about Yoshke, right? How it came to be. Rabbi Reuven Schlitter gives a beautiful story. So the husband of this Miriam lady, so he was very strict, and she was a pretty lady, and he did not want to let her out, right? Ever, right? Sometimes she would go to the courtyard or something, but most of the time he would go to work and lock her inside. And it was Yom Kippur. I'm shortening the thing, and he locks you from outside. So meaning she has no way to get out, right? And there was a Roman soldier, right? Roman soldier that would come and say, "How come you saw such a beautiful lady? You never go to the market. You never go this that." And she, guess what? On Yom Kippur, she jumps from the balcony and ran away with the soldier. So that's what when somebody's trying to be extra strict, extra, so it's not good. So we try not to be like there are ways where you can express your piety, but don't overdo it. And unfortunately, I read the commentary today. Unfortunately, I don't know this person. This woman says she said that's she thanks us very much and said that's exactly what happened to me. So her husband was tzaddik gamur, right? Like a complete tzaddik, like in his eyes, in eyes of the people around. But he like overdid, like this Yosef guy, like was locking his wife out. That's a little too much. Right, so of course you have to like protect your wife, and she has to go on these places, not that places, that not to talk to men on the street. That's a different story. But don't try to be extra righteous, extra strict, because it's going to bring the only disasters, as we see from the Yoshka story. Very interesting. I feel so bad for this lady. I mean, good for her. Hopefully she got remarried, but that's the story. So try not to be extra strict. If I would say just say one blessing is enough. We go with one blessing. Any other questions before we continue? If somebody wants to look up, it's the true story of the birth of the Yoshke. I'm not going to pronounce. And second part of the title, hold on to your chairs. So after class, you can research it. Very interesting story. Very sad story. So continue. A common application of this halacha occurs when eating exactly kizayis of cake. One who eats only kizayis of cake has, in fact, not eaten complete kizayis of grain, since the cake is made up of other ingredients, for example, sugar, flavoring as well. According to the above rule, that one does not recite Ala Mechiyah, if one did not eat kizayis of grain within the time of Kidei Achilas Pras, one should not recite Ala Mechiyah in this case, but rather Barei Nefashos. Nevertheless, common custom, as cited Mishnah Brura 108:48, is to recite Ala Mechiyah in this case. Let's stop here and understand, and then we continue. So you want to eat a piece of cake, right? I'm not talking about cookies, like crackers. It's a different story, right? But the cake, it's a good example, right? So how first of all, how this cake became cake, right? It was like dough, like for bread, but then they added a lot of sugar, they added honey, they added eggs, a lot of eggs, they added, and then maybe they put some cream, some layers of jelly or something. So even though like you have a slice of cake, and if you put it on a scale, it's going to be 1 ounce, like let's say even 1.2 ounce, but you understand that with all of the ingredients, so the dough is less than 1 ounce for sure. Like all of the jelly and cream, that they weigh a lot, right? And then the dough is puffy. So you understand, even this cake, 1 ounce, little more than 1 ounce, for sure the dough is less than 1 ounce. So according to the first understanding, so since person is not going to eat 1 ounce, of course the first blessing, Mezonos, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the last blessing. So there is the developed custom. It's, and a custom, like after so many years, also, like I'm not sure when it was exactly developed, how many hundreds of years ago, but I also just say, even like for sure, it's obvious, it's less than kizayis, it's less than 28 grams, 1 ounce of dough, for sure, we know that, but with all other ingredients, it is, right? So we say Ala Mechiyah at the end. Okay, so that's it's like, I would say it's exception, and that's what people are doing. And once the custom state, like, and it's holy custom, and it's, if it's mentioned in Shulchan Aruch, okay, so we can continue this custom. But person, I'm not sure he's going to say or not, but remember, like Mishnah Brura, like, or some commentary on it, say if a person wants to be like a God-fearing person, should not put himself or herself in this situation and eat a little more. So to make sure that you ate 1 ounce of this cake. That's it. That's basically the thing. Or eat for sure less. So do more, for sure more, or for sure less, but do not do it exactly. Even though there is such a custom, but try not to put yourself in that situation. Okay, continue. Although Mishnah Brura offers justification for this custom, he nevertheless concludes that one should ideally avoid the situation. Exactly. So I remember reading. Yes, either by eating less of the kizayis of cake or eating enough cake so that he ate kizayis of grain, right? Less for sure. You would not need to say the blessing after blessing, for sure not, right? Right? Or you eat for sure more. That's exactly as we explained. Igras Moshe Orach Chaim, Volume 1, Section 71, does not accept the justification for the custom offered by Mishnah Brura, and does not permit one to recite Ala Mechiyah upon eating less than kizayis of grain in a cake within the required time frame. Okay, we're going to explain. Nevertheless, Igras Moshe also does not permit one to recite Baren Nefashos when eating exactly kizayis. As this would contrary to common custom. He therefore asserts that one must avoid the situation in the manner mentioned above. Okay, so let us explain what it says here. It looks like it's several different opinions, but we're going to combine them and explain so it would not be as confusing. So Mishnah Brura says, okay, so you have 1 ounce of cake, you eat, for sure it's like sugar, all other things, it's if you go by the flour, it's less than 1 ounce. We understand that, right? So, but the custom developed over the years, so we say Ala Mechiyah, no problem, right? But he said, he said that at one should try to avoid the situation, so eat for sure less than 1 ounce. You would not be required to say blessing. Or, for example, if you ate less than 1 ounce, but you drank coffee or something like enough drink, so you'll be able to say blessing on the coffee and cover this. I mean, keep in mind that it should be covered this cake as well. There is no problem. So like, it's not like you're avoiding to say the blessing after blessing completely. You're just avoiding this situation. Or he said, as we also said, eat much more of this cake, so you would eat for sure 1 kizayis of grains. Okay, so Igras Moshe, Rabbi Moshe Zatzal, so he goes a little stricter. So he said he does not accept this custom that Mishnah Brura says, go leniently, right? Okay, I have only 1 piece of cake and it's only 1 ounce. What can I do, right? So Igras Moshe Zatzal, right? So he said, do not say Ala Mechiyah in this case, right? And he said, right? And he said, do not say Baren Nefashos. Okay, Rabbi Moshe. So I mean, you drive us a little crazy in some sense, right? You say don't say Ala Mechiyah and don't say Baren Nefashos. So what do you want me to say? So Rabbi Moshe said you cannot say Baren Nefashos. Why? Because there is opinion of the Mishnah Brura, so he respects that opinion, absolutely. In some sense, they live almost not in the same generation. There is like some difference in, of course, Mishnah Brura was before, but Rabbi Moshe like almost like in the same generation, right? So he said. Okay, and Baren Nefashos you also cannot say, right? Because Mishnah Brura said don't say. So he said don't put yourself in that situation, period. So do one or another as Mishnah Brura said, right? Eat less, for sure less, or eat for sure more, that you would eat enough of Mezonos. Okay, that's proper way of conducting ourselves. And that's what we always, like we always say it, and we're trying to do the same. Any question on what we said? Because in this case, I think it's very, very common scenario. When you're somewhere in a shul, like, and they give you a piece of cake, and it's heavy, but you don't know what to say after that. Any questions? Okay, no problem. So then we continue. An exception to the rule regarding the mixture that contains grain product. So now another exception. However, a small amount of flour is considered a dominant ingredient when the flour is added to the dish in order to impart flavor to the dish. So as we said before, or here he said, or make the dish more filling. So that's what they used to do. You have to understand, like, people were very, very poor, and they would add this flour like to the soup to make it like thick. And if you look at this Yemenite food, right, Yemenite Jewish food, right, so it's a lot of dough, because people in Yemen were very, very poor, and dough was like flour was the cheapest product, like, and they managed to survive like on bread alone. Very, very poor people for many, many generations. I mean, they taste it. I mean, if you try like all of the different dishes that the Yemenites do with the flour, it's simply unbelievable. Like, you would not believe how many dishes you can make with the dough. Unbelievable. This cooked dough, this dough. Very interesting. Okay, so we say Mezonos only if it was added the flour for a flavor or for a filling, right? So for satiation. However, if one takes only small amount of flour and adds it to the dish merely as a binding agent, right? As we said before, is it common? So you do, for example, potato latkes, right? Potatoes. Unless you add this flour, they're going to fall apart. That's known fact. Right, but do you do it because of the flavor? No, you do it. I don't know, two spoons or 3 spoons, whatever. How many latkes you make? But it's only as a binding agent. That's it. So the main taste that you care about is a potato. As it's common in the case of different kinds of relishes that are prepared with a small amount of flour added. So that's a simple thing. It's a simple, like, straightforward rule. If it's only to bind together, you make blessing on the rest of the ingredients, whatever is a majority. And also in the case of baked foods that are baked with almonds, sugar, and eggs, and just add small amount of flour, and just a small amount of flour added to it. I'm not sure. I never had these foods baked: almonds, sugar, and eggs. I'm not sure what is the food, but okay. But we got the point, right? They add flour only to bind the ingredients together. Okay. In these cases, the flour is considered insignificant. And one is to recite the blessing only on the primary ingredients of the food. So primary ingredients, we're going to look at the commentary right now, but it's majority. So unless you have a special preference, special, like you don't like other foods and you eat other foods only because this minority food, then it's an exception, and you're going to make the blessing on the food that you like. But otherwise, like rule of thumb, so you make the blessing on majority. Commentary: likewise, if flour was added only to give the food a certain aroma or color, right? So when you fry something like you fry this fish, for example, in this and you put it in a flour, right? So it's color, it's taste a little. I mean, it's not for sure. It's not the main ingredients, for sure not. Only to give food the aroma or color. It is not considered the dominant ingredients. Okay, see Shulchan Aruch 2:4-12. That's obvious. So, but if you fry fish like they sell it in the supermarket, right? They call it fish fingers, whatever they call. So a thick dough. It's not like a thing whatever you do in your house, like a thick dough, and inside like a tiny piece of not chicken or fish or chicken. That doesn't matter. So on that you say for sure, but I'm in the Mezonos because it's a lot of dough. But whatever you usually people fry at home, like it's not. So you say blessing on the fish itself. Regarding pie, there is with the Mezonos pie crust. okay, or ice cream sandwich with Mezonos wafers, the proper blessing depends on the intention of the eater. One who enjoys both the pie and the crust, or both the ice cream and the wafers, must recite Mezonos on a pie crust or wafers, and appropriate blessing for the for the pie filling or the ice cream. However, if he does not care at all about Mezonos part, he should recite only blessing upon the pie fillings and the ice cream. Okay. Igras Moshe Orachaim, volume 4, part 43. Let's try to understand. So it's very, very important point that the authors are making here. It's about the blessing on ice cream. So we're talking about ice cream, and you have ice cream cone, right, with from wafers, right? So most of the time, like the way I understand, of course, everybody's different. So the way I understand these cones, like they come with different flavor. They could be raspberry, could be vanilla, could be, I don't know, like a chocolate cone. Like they're tasty, just a piece of art by themselves. You understand? So if you like both of them, so you say 2 blessings for sure. What commentators say? So say first on the Mezonos, right? You break piece of corn, right on top. There is usually a piece that you can break. You eat. That doesn't matter how big is the piece, right? And then you say on the ice cream, you eat ice cream because they're not exactly mixed. They're two separate things. Or others say, it does not say here, but even logically, others say, so I want to break the corn. I did not get to it. So I want to start with ice cream, right? I want to start with ice cream. When I'm going to get to the corn, so I'm going to say the blessing on the corn and eat a little bit, or all of it. Well, so, but okay, so that's clear. So on ice cream or on what is it, pie, right? You have a cherry pie, let's say, right? Have cherry pie. So I'm not sure how can you not to like this this crust. Crust you usually saturated with the flavor. It's very, very tasty. But some people they like only filling. They do not care about the pie. If they don't eat pie, there is no problem whatsoever. They don't have to say the blessing. So in some sense, this pie or this ice cream cone is only to contain the food. It's the only reason. Of course, it's edible, but you're not obligated to eat it. You can eat the ice cream and leave the cone out, right? So about ice cream. So some people say how you don't say the blessing on a cone. They say if your intention, I want to eat ice cream, and I don't want to soil my fingers, right? So I have to hold this ice cream with something. So I'm going to hold it with a cone as well. So in this case, and you don't like this wafer cone, whatever your preference is, you don't enjoy it for sure. So you don't say a blessing, right? For sure, you don't say a blessing. Same. I think it's very rare case. That's my personal opinion. He's giving my opinion, but I think that there are people like that. So for them, they say only one blessing, right? On a ice cream or with a cherry pie, only one a cherry, and they can eat the second one. Okay. Continue. Likewise, on a broth that is cooked and prepared with a bit of toasted flour, fried in butter, one recite only shechakol blessing upon the broth. Okay, because it's my minority, this butter, but this flour. However, even in this case, if he picks out the fried bits of flour, I mean it's flour I'm not sure how big are the bits from the broth, and eats them by themselves, he must recite Baremine Mezonos blessings upon them. And if he eats kizayis of them, he has to eat a lot, kizayis of them, he must recite Alamechia after eating them. So of course, during in this time span of 3 to 4 minutes, according to Moshe, they say even less than 3 minutes. That's why I always was saying like from 2 to 3 minutes, right? But we're trying to like go a little like more lenient opinion, 3 to 4 minutes, like all accepted 3 to 4. So 2 to 3 is more stricter. Okay, no problem. So and in this case, in the case of the broth, they just add it for flavoring. Of course, it's minority of the minority. So I'm not sure how can you eat kizais, but if person eats a lot, I think he can. Okay, so we finish this Siman completely. Any questions on the blessing on the Mezonos foods from 5 grains? Like any whatever you want to ask, we can do. Otherwise, we can go to the different subject. Any questions? Okay, so no problem. So let's start then a new subject. We have some time. And the topic is Siman 49. The topic, the halachas of blessing for wine and the blessing of hatov hametiv. And we have a company once, and we were in a situation, right, when you have to say the next blessing on the wine, and the person was like so shocked, he never heard of this halacha, even though like in a Kitzur. So if halacha in a Kitzur, it means that it's very, very basic. So, okay, so let's start. Sif number 1. So it's upon wine, before partaking of it, one recite the blessing, Baruch atah HaShem Elokeinu melech haolam, Bircas gefen. Right, which means bless are you, HaShem. I'm going to skip. Who creates fruit of the wine? Okay. So commentary. Wine is unique among the beverages. Therefore, the sages institute a special blessing recited upon drinking it. So all of the other blessings are shechakol, right? And only one is exception. Okay. So before drinking wine, he says. Geffen, and after drinking it, one recites the blessed Allah Geffen for a wine, etc. Okay, so the 3 parts blessings. Okay, same when I say Allah Mihya, so it's actually Allah Mihya for Mezonos, but Allah Geffen is for wine. It's like separate, like insert. Continue. With regard to the halacha, there is no difference in a type of wine, even if it is still bubbling. So meaning what? There is very new wine that is still in a process of fermentation, resulting from bubbling. But I would say, I mean, the better example would be juice, right? This grape juice. So you say exactly the same blessing. But here is more wine because it starts like fermentation process. And even if the wine was not pressed from the grapes, but flowed by itself, the same, okay. Even if the wine was not pressed for grapes, but flowed for itself. So, what does it mean? It means that you had a lot of grapes, let's say in your container, whatever was it, and they squashed each other. Let's say some were like over ripping or something like, and then they without squeezing, the liquid came out by itself. So on this liquid, you say Bircas gefen if you're not drinking. The same is true even if the wine that has been cooked. Okay, cooked. What does it mean? Commentary. This applies even regardless of whether it was cooked when it was already wine, or whether the grapes or raisins from which the wine was produced was cooked. Okay, so It's a lot of information. So how you can cook the wine? Three ways. It's just in these few lines they explain. First way how you cook the wine. So you make the wine first, regular process, and then you cook it. So you cook does not mean, as we said, you have to that does not have to get to the boiling point, but it should get to certain degree. I think like 70 degree. 70? No. 170, no, 160 or something in Fahrenheit, and 70 I think in Celsius, something like that. Okay, I think we're going to mention it. Okay, and or it's one way, or you cook the grapes. So you cook the grapes like it's like grape soup or something, right? So on this liquid you say Bereplich Geffen, or you do with raisins. Right, and in this Siman, I think we're going to say how to make raisin wine. So a person does not have wine, and have some students, they live in places, so they cannot afford. They're not rich people, so they cannot afford wine, kosher wine. There is kosher wine, but it's like triple the price, right? Even wherever they say in the States. Unfortunately, right? People take advantage. So they would make the wine from the raisins. We're going to see how in this year. Okay, so all of this is considered to be cooked wine, but meaning not simply squeezed, but cooked. But in all of them, we say Bereplich Geffen, right? Or for kunditin. So we will see what is kunditin. There is wine. Okay, here we go. There is a wine into which honey or spices were added. Okay, so, or if wormwood was added, which is bitter. So wine, like when you say when you can taste the wine, like wine from grapes, or sometimes you would not taste the wine from grapes. And the best example, I would say, from Manischewitz. Wines, they have wines like peach wine. It's a very delicious wine, but it has nothing to do with the peach, right? It's actually, if you see on the label, it actually says or it's apricot. I don't remember, peach or apricot. I don't know, one of these. We haven't had it for a long time, but it says clear Bereplich Geffen, like on the label. It says Bereplich. I mean, whoever can read. But if a person does not read Hebrew and does not check, so he would do shechakol, which is not true, because the majority of this wine, even though you cannot taste grapes at all, so it's like a very beautiful taste, so the very delicious taste of this peaches or apricot, whatever is it. Very interesting. But on the bottle it says Bereplich Geffen. Right, so that's exactly what he says here. Even if you change the taste of the wine with honey, right, of spices. So of course, there's honey, spices. It's totally different. Constitute a third or more. Even if the honey and spices each constitute a third or more of the beverage. So 1/3, it's like a lot. It's a lot. 30% is a lot. And it states it's generally affected by these ingredients. So as I said, this Manischewitz, for sure, it's totally different taste. The wine remains the most significant ingredient, and Bereplich Geffen is recited. So be careful when you buy this kind of wine. So check what it says, the fruits wine, right? So check what it says on a bottle. But for example, same company, they do blackberry wine. So blackberry, they say shechak. Also, like, it says OU, and under that it says in Hebrew shechak. Continue. Even if the wine smells like vinegar, right? Wine smells like vinegar. So our contemporary example, there is a cooking wine, right? They call cooking wine. I mean, but it's it's something between wine and vinegar, right? So even if wine smells as vinegar, as long as it tastes like wine, so that's exactly like cooking wines, it is considered wine with regard to its blessing. Okay. However, if it becomes sour, okay, to the point when some people would refrain from drinking due to the sourness. So maybe for as a vinegar they would use, but not to drink. There is a question as to the proper blessing. So don't put yourself in that situation. Okay. Although one may recite the blessing shechakol before drinking it, so we said just in case, right? There is a still question as to the bracha achrana for the final blessing. Okay, so it's not so clear. So if you want to drink this wine, I'm not sure for whatever reason. So if you have a proper wine, right, good wine, so make the blessing on that wine, and drink enough, and continue with this questionable wine. So let's see the commentary. See below 50. We didn't get to it. It's next CF. The 50 and the CF2, which state that the shechakol blessing may be recited in cases where halacha grey and proper bracha rishona is in doubt. So when in a case, of course, Shulchan Aruch said you must find out what the right bracha is, and go find somebody, go ask a rabbi, and you cannot just arbitrarily, like say maybe 50-50. Right? I'm going to say this way. You cannot do that, and also you cannot say shechakol on everything, right? So you have to find out what is the proper blessing. So, but in some situations there is no access to rabbi. There is no. Today we have internet. You have some reliable websites, or books, whatever you use. So you must verify. If you cannot for whatever reason, you have no idea what the name is. Okay, so it is exception, so you can say shechakol. So next comments on, there is still a question as to whether bracha achrana, final blessing, right? So we don't know what, even the first you say shechakol, but what is the after blessing? Commentary. If it is considered wine, one is obligated to recite al gefen, blessing after drinking it. If it is not considered wine, one may not recite the blessing. So that's like questionable situation. Therefore, one should not drink it. Okay, that's so it's very straightforward. Right? Unless he first recite the blessing upon good wine, exactly as we said. So if you have a little good wine, say the blessing on that wine, and continue with this whatever you have left. Commentary. One and drink the amount required to bracha achrana, meaning good wine. So you drink this like 3 ounces, minimum 3.1 ounces, like in a time span of whatever, like in a few sips, or they say we can go by different opinion, but it says 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, and then you continue with this questionable wine. Thus, he may be exempt the sour wine from both bracha achrana and bracha rishona. So, and just to remind us, when we have wine and we have other beverages, when you say blessing on the wine, all of the beverages, of course, that were on a table or you are planning to drink, so they covered with the blessing on wine. And after blessing, you would say only one blessing after wine, this ala gefen blessing, if you drink a lot, enough, right? And it's going to exempt all other beverages from necessary blessing. For the laws of the raisin wine, see below Siman 53. Okay, I thought in this Siman, but it's actually in 53. So it's 3 Simanim down the road. Okay, I think we can stop here because next one is very long. So do you have any questions? Anybody like on any topic? This topic, any topic? Yes, go ahead, please.
Rabbi, what if we light on Erev Shabbat, we light the Shabbat candles, we say the blessing, and then we find that the candles went out before Shabbat started. Can we light them again?
Okay, so it's an amazing question. So I would say depend who. A woman cannot light the candles. That's it. For her, like when she lit the candles, right? That's it. She accepted Shabbos, like for sure. Unless she like said, like stipulate, like even out loud, I'm going to light the candles, but I'm not going to accept Shabbos. Why? There is some exception. There is some legit exception to the case, so she's not sure if she can. So she wants to take take shower, or she wants to daven mincha. So of course, if you say that I'm accepting Shabbos with lighting candles, you cannot take shower. That's it. It's too late, right? So because all of this reason, and you cannot daven mincha. Like mincha is a weekday, so it's a contradiction, right? But otherwise, when under normal circumstances, woman lit the candle, that's it. That's she done the mitzvah. And if it wasn't extinguished 3 seconds later, that's it. I mean, she's not obligated to lit them again. That's it. She did the mitzvah. But a husband usually does not accept the blessing right away, the Shabbos right away. He accepts Shabbos much later. Right? When he goes to the shul, when few opinions. One they say. This Psalm 92 after the Chad ID. Some say in the last two verses of the Chad ID when we to turn back to the door. Some say third opinion when we say Baruch Hu. Like it's all within a few seconds. No, the first two within a few seconds. The second one it's maybe two minutes away. That's it. So I mean, not a big difference, but still much later from a woman. So if she, if a candle went out, so he can light the candle, and she can even ask him explicitly without any deviation, right? She can ask him explicitly to light the candle for him. That's it. That's yeah. He cannot, but she can ask children, whatever other people who did not accept Shabbos yet. They're not obligated to accept Shabbos. Okay, go ahead.
So is it okay for the woman to light the candles and then not take on Shabbat yet? Or should she not do that?
No. It's only, as I said, only exceptional circumstances. And when she's late, she's has to take to bathe the children, this and that, all of the exceptional circumstances, yes. But otherwise, it's since she did it three times in a row, it's considered chazaka. It's she accepted. Now, not only she, but everything that we do. You do something 3 times, you accepted this mitzvah upon yourself. It's like you already promised to do it every time. You understand?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yes. Okay, you're welcome. So, but as I said, under exceptional circumstances, she forgot. She's working. She's doing all of these crazy things. Right, take care of the family and she came late. This and that, and she wants to do to pray mincha. So of course she can say I'm lighting the candles, but not accepting Shabbos. But it must be explicit. Okay. And must be before bein hashmashos. Okay, I have to say that it must be before this sundown. After sundown, that's it. We don't light. We don't light, and we don't ask others. Too late. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so no questions, no problem. So we can stop here. There's HaShem. So tomorrow we're going to continue with our amazing class of Shmone Prakim on the character development. And so good night until tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining. I know today is Purim. Some people are drunk. Whatever people, unfortunately, they didn't know what Judaism is about. So some people, my students, send me the picture. I said, why did you go there to this crazy party? And people are dressed very immodestly in all of the costumes that non-Jews would wear. It's not correct. It's not right. But okay. Thank you very much for joining. Good night.